with DCM Communications, and she's going to share as women how we can really lean into our voices. So please give a round of applause for Channing.
All right, I'm loud enough that y'all don't need me to
Yeah.
use my hand. One extra thing right here. All right. Pay attention, be cognizant of time. So yes, my name is Channing Muller, and I'm with DCM Communications, and I'm a marketing consultant, right? Easy way to remember what it is that I can help you with. Anything that has to do with words, as you're about to learn, I can help with this, right? So I also want to give a special shout out to this absolutely fantastic, if I do say it myself, new headshot that I got, and thanks to Haley over here with this headshot. Ultimate shooter, help Google organization, all the things. So I appreciate other people. Here's the game plan of the things that I'm going to go through today, right? First thing, why the heck should you listen to anything that I have to say? You don't all know me. I'm not random. I can do this, but I'm going to prove it. Also, why is it that effective communication actually matters, in particular as women? Defining what that actually means, the process for doing it effectively. I'm going to give you some real life examples. I know we have a mix in the room right now of people that own their own business, people that work for a small business, and then those that love to work for the really big guys, probably in the building surrounding us. Recap overall with some additional resources for your own education. And then, of course, if you have additional questions, as I encourage you to have, right? A lot of things that I've learned in my career are because I raised my hand and was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand something. Can you please make it clear? Okay? So first of all, why should you listen to anything that I have to say? Well, those of you in the event industry may have heard about BizBash. I actually started my career on the journalism side of media, interviewing event planners at like the Super Bowl, the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. Why did you host this event? How did you actually make it happen? Through that, I learned and met some amazing people about what it takes to actually pull together events. The answer, a lot. Be nice to them. Okay? From that, I then decided my time in Miami had come to an end, so I moved to Washington, D.C. and switched to the advertising side of media, both creating an in-house agency at BizNow for any of you that might be in real estate, as well as actually executing up to 300 ad campaigns a week. It was a lot, it was awesome, and I realized people don't actually know, being boys, unfortunately, how to sell advertising. So I coach them on how to do it, because I'm like, hey, recurring revenue, you get paid every time this ad runs. Does anyone not want money to show up in their bank account every month? Right, exactly. At the same time, BizBash was really nice. It was like, hey, you're in DC, you want to do some event coverage there? Who says no to getting paid to go to events and write about them? Right? Pretty amazing. Thank you. I've been to inaugurations. Again, the event planners, awesome. The people that end up there kind of agree, you know, goes both ways. I eventually decided to go to a much bigger corporation and learn about corporate America from the inside. That took me to Focus. This is a software company that within 3 weeks of starting there decided, oh hey, we're gonna merge with our biggest competitor, Cision, based here in Chicago. The beginning of how I ended up in this fantastic city, right? Through that, I decided to raise my hand and ask a lot of questions. I wanted to know absolutely everything there was to know about marketing from a large-scale perspective. In the 2.5 years that I spent at Cision/Focus, we merged with our biggest competitor and then acquired 5 other companies. And guess who got to lead and make sure all of those brands stay equitable and all of this stuff actually clicked? So yes, I'm really organized. That's what you should take away there. All of these things, the journalism, the marketing, the advertising came together, and I realized, wait a minute, there's a business in there. Enter DCM Communications, which I've been very proud to say I've done for 10 years. This December. That's pretty good. So in the process of this, people are really nice and very appreciative, I am, of hard work being recognized. So I've had really amazing clients that have nominated me for things within the event industry, as well as, can't believe this, I've only been in Illinois full-time for a year. To be named the top marketing agency in Illinois at the end of last year, like, so fun things about me me as a person, Mardi Gras is my absolute favorite holiday. I am from New Orleans. It is a holiday. It is not just a party, I assure you. Thankfully, my brother feels the exact same way. We're in on all the fun. In case you didn't notice, we have the same face. He's not my husband. I have a very strong love of beverages. I absolutely have a coffee subscription from a small business, PJ's, in New Orleans. If bourbon is involved, I'm not going to say no. I love rescue animals. I have these two beautiful boys, Sully and Dexter. They're just so precious and a humongous pain in my butt on a regular basis. They are also both from Miami, and I have shipped them to the different cities where I am in order to adopt them. And as some of you also learned this evening, I kind of like to run. So it's pretty amazing. All distances, Eddie's. I'm a little bit stuck on a marathon at the moment, but every step counts. Okay. So now, why is it that why does it even matter if you know how to speak to other people in an effective manner? Did anyone else resonate with this when this started circulating around on Instagram? Like literally, anybody else been told they talk too much? Okay. So now you tell me, if I looked at the comment section, because that's where the gold is, these are actually some of the now professional titles that people who were told you talk too much have. I don't know about you, but these all seem like pretty badass answers to talking too much. And let's not also forget, if you want to be an effective communicator, or rather, a successful adult human, you need to know how to talk to other people. Whether it is in a business fashion, it is in a personal one, all of these things are independent. You have to be able to connect with others, unless you want to be, like someone I met recently who decided to go live at a lake house in the woods by himself. To each their own. That is not the story of my life. There we go, right? All this getting, if you want to have meaningful, productive, and profitable relationships in work or life, you have got to be able to communicate effectively, right? And this is where I go back against the meme, which is so much fun, but it's not just about talking, it's about people actually understanding what you are trying to tell them and digesting it, all right? So, effective communication. Do you know what this means? Today, we're going to look at it from now on, it is marketing and sales. That's it. That is literally effective communication in a nutshell. Because marketing is about conveying a specific message to a specific audience, and sales is that they resonate with whatever it is that you are saying, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I need that right now, please. Right? So even if it is like, where should we go to dinner tomorrow? Who are you going with? What are they going to be interested in? And will they buy into that's where you should go? It is all about marketing and sales. Does anybody recognize this episode of The Golden Girls? Okay. So, for those who may not or did not grow up in the most wonderful generation ever, where this was on the TV and the radio every day from school, this is fantastic. So, Sophia is the mother, right, of all this. She decided we're going to have a pizza knish stand at the boardwalk, right? They have it all set up. She comes down. The girls are just standing there because it's a beautiful day and everyone is in the water. And Sophia walks up and is like, what is going on? And Rose was like, you can have the best product in the world, but if people don't know about it, they can't buy it. And Sophia's like, people don't know. So she walks up, being a little spitfire she is, starts yelling, shark, shark, into the water. Everybody jumps out and comes running, and she's like, start selling, right? Point being, you can have all of the leads and all the best opportunities in the world, but if they don't convert, you don't actually have a business, right? You have a really exhausting hobby. It might be fun sometimes, but I guarantee anyone else in the entrepreneurial world here, it's exhausting and it's hard, right? And that's okay for it to be hard, but let's make sure that there's payoff on the other side of that. So the key formula to converting leads is this: know, like, and trust. Okay? What I mean by that is people have to know who you are, they have to like what you have to say and or offer them, and then they have to trust you. right? Because all of this comes with trust, whether it's getting a job or it's selling the idea or it's getting a new client, or as our elections are coming up, they are trying to sell us that we believe they will follow through on what they have had to say, right? It all comes down to the know, like, and trust. And this is just the beginning of the fantastically strong women that you're going to be seeing throughout all this. Because it's really that simple. It's 3 things. So you remember nothing else, know, like, trust, you become a more effective communicator. So now, how do we actually move people through this cycle? Because it is a cycle, right? It doesn't just start right away. You have to define what your goal is. You have to identify who the target audience is. You craft the message, and then where the money and the result is in the conversion, right? So you have to make sure it resonates, that they're like, oh my gosh, yes, I need that right now. So on the entrepreneurial end, here are some examples of what a goal could be, right? You want to land a new client, you want to re-sign the existing, you want to get in front of people and be able to talk about all the things that you know and educate others. The corporate side, you want to get a new job, you want to raise or promotion, right? You want to pitch a new idea, a new project. Every one of these is about marketing to an intended audience and converting them to buy into whatever it is you have to say, right? So after you identify what the goal is, let's look at what some of those target clients and audiences would be that you talk to. When it comes to landing a new client, it's whoever the decision maker is. It is not, I want to work with Walgreens. It is, who is the person at Walgreens that will make the decision that says, yes, I will give you my money to plan this offsite corporate retreat for me, right? No one else matters. They may think they matter, but unless they're controlling the budget, they don't matter. Re-signing an existing client. Who is the ideal audience for that? Someone who's already bought from you, right? Ideally someone who bought from you and really had an amazing experience. Why? Because that old saying where like costs 10 times as much to get a new client than to re-sign existing, no, that is true. And that's assuming we're only talking about dollars and not about the emotional energy that goes in to creating content that will convert these people, right? If you want to book a speaking gig, who is it that you talk to? The event planner. Keep in mind, in this case, our wonderful event planner is also the one who owns the business where I want to speak. That is not always the case. The event planner, as some are circulating through this event itself, are independent from the client. But guess what? The event planner is the one that is going to book the speaking gigs 9 times out of 10. There's always exceptions, so just be aware of that. But nonetheless, event planners are the ones you want to know if you ever want to speak in front of a group. On the corporate side, if you want to get a new job, it's the hiring manager, right? That's the person you want to be friends with. Getting a raise or a promotion. It is whoever your manager is at your current company, right? That is the person. They may have to turn around and sell you to somebody else, but that's who you want to talk to. You want to pitch a new idea? It is the department or it is the team lead, right? Whoever is the one is in charge of actually enacting that and saying yes. Once you know your goal and you're going to reach, what the heck are you talking about? Like, you have to be very clear, what is it that I'm trying to sell this person? Is it a product? Is it an idea? Is it a service? Or is it me? Is it like all the ideas in my brain, I believe I deserve a promotion, I'm selling myself at that point, right? So you have to be very clear of what that is. Because the clearer you are about what your goal is and who you're trying to reach, the easier it will be to create that message. I don't care if words are not your favorite thing. If you understand those first 2 things, they will flow so much easier. If you're getting stuck, chances are you have not figured out who you're actually trying to talk to and what you want to accomplish. So, how do we start crafting that message? We have to get them to know us. How do you do that? Social media, PR. My favorite thing when I was in the corporate world, walk up and talk to this person. If you know that the VP of sales is the one that is going to help make your life a lot easier and they don't know you, you walk across that office and you knock on the door and you say, excuse me, my name is so-and-so, I have a question for you, right? It is a whole lot harder to say no to someone that is in front of your face than through an email. So Slack, personally hate it, I know it has a place in life, but like, Don't send a Slack message, don't send email. If you have the opportunity to see them in person, take advantage of it. Even if it is simply a, hello, my name is Channing. It works in the dating world, it works in the adult world. Hello goes a lot further than people want to give it credit for, okay? From there, they need to like you. How do you get people to actually like what you have to say? You are clear about what it is. You are dependable. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And more important than anything else, it is consistency, right? There are some people who say you got to create this much content every single week. You got to do this every single week. There's a lot of advice. Forget all of that crap. Just do something on a consistent basis, whatever consistent can be for you. 3 times a week, once a week, figure out what it is that it fits your life, but be consistent, right? People will start to pay attention to that you always show up. Maybe on different days, but as long as you're showing up every week, you're showing up twice a week, that's what matters. And like a good goal, you always got to follow through. If you say you're going to do it, you do it. Period. You move heaven and earth. If you're not sure if that's the reality, then you don't commit to it, right? This is how over time, right, we've got the long game here and the short game. We're farming at the moment. Has anyone heard of the concept of farming versus hunting in marketing? Okay, right? We're tilling the soil here. If you keep working at that, you're getting people to know you, to like you. That doesn't happen immediately. Sometimes like, oh my gosh, I got a great feeling about you. But y'all may have followed me on social media for 4 weeks and still be like, well, like, I mean, it's entertaining, but like, do I want to give her more money? I don't know yet, right? You meet someone in person, you can get a better feel. But we have to work across the board. We have to also take time. We all need time to get to know somebody. And you need them to trust you. Right? In order to do that, they have to believe that what you're saying will benefit them. Those are people who are like, oh, but is it really? Y'all, it is really all about them. No one cares about you. They don't actually care about what your goal is. They want to know what is in it for me. Right? That is the absolute most important thing to walk away with. So you talked about how you need to define your goal. You have to identify who is the target audience for that. And you have to craft a message that will get them to know, like, and trust you. Absolutely love this, right? Because it's really the best feeling. And if someone doesn't like you, guess what? They're just not your person. They're not your person in life, they're not your person in business. Guess what? These buildings are huge. There's lots of people in the world. It's fine. I realize even everyone in this room may not be like, Jamie, you might be a little bit much. Okay, that's fine. For my people, I'm not too much. I'm just a right amount of energy and expertise. And that's okay, right? I don't need everybody. So the next step in all of this is to convert them, right? You know where you're going after, you've identified the way to do it. Oh, this was a game changer in business, and I hope it will be one for you. It is not about selling. Yes, I said at the beginning we're talking about marketing and sales, but the reality is that it is about providing a solution to someone else's problem. So I feel like one of the things that people tend to get stuck on and get hesitant, specifically if you're moving from a corporate world into your own business, is in the corporate world, you're like, oh yeah, okay, we do this, like, you may have goals, you may have things you want to accomplish, but at the end, it's not your name on the door. These are literally my initials. It is literally my name on the door now. And I got the worst imposter syndrome. I got so scared because I was trying to convince people that the ideas in my head were ones that they should follow through. Now I knew I could make this happen, but the most confident of people, when you were trying to sell ideas in your head or your own expertise as like, I deserve XYZ amount of money, because it's a lot of money, you may know in your gut and then your head's like, oh, but really, are you sure? Are you sure? Right? If you shift that to be, I'm providing a solution to a problem that you have, emotions go out the door. And this is where men have a very big advantage of us because they are very rational by nature. They're like, oh, walk in, I deserve this for this amount of money and this is it. Women are like, well, I think that I've earned this amount of money for the job, and can we talk about the promotion? No, dude, you walk up, this is how much I am worth, period. We don't get a chance because they look at it, they're like, I'm providing a solution, yes, to everybody. And they're like, you hired me to do something, I have done it, pay. Yeah. Big pregnant pause, end of sentence, right? Don't need to always fill that void. So if you can switch everything, like, I am here to provide a solution to your problem, and start thinking like a man, which means life is easier. Right? I know the one man in the room is not going to disagree.
We love you, Ben.
He's also a white man. He knows this. He knows his life is easier than women, right? This is what you don't want to do. You don't want to get that person on the hook and then be like, oh my God, great, now let's get married. I want you to give me all the money right away. I want you to sign with me and we're going to do all of these things. Y'all, you've either just booked the meeting or you've just hooked them into buying into like, yeah, let's talk further, right? Did anybody here get a marriage proposal on date one? Did I hear a yes somewhere? Okay. Did it freak you out at all? Or were you like, oh, let's go for it? Yes, I'll do that.
Along with it.
You went along with it?
We're actually planning it right now.
Woo! So there you go. Well, I am very happy for your life. I would also like to point out the number of women in this room. Y'all, that is not normal. Okay? A man telling me on a first date, he's like, oh great, we get to delete all the apps. I'm not dating anyone else. And I'm like, ooh, dude, I didn't even agree to food. I agreed to a drink. Same way I run a marathon. One step at a time. Okay? Pump the brakes. It's the same thing in business, but we can get really caught up and be like really excited, like, wow, we hit you with this. No, one step at a time, okay? Instead, I'm gonna do my absolute favorite thing because yes, my brother-in-law is amazing and gave me one of those fantastic oven mitts that says, I'm not bossy, I'm the boss. Well, it's time to turn bossy into a positive, okay? And what I mean by that is you approach every meeting, every call, every where do you want to go to dinner with the bossy approach. You build rapport, you open up their problems box, right? Problems box being, you know, like you got people like to compartmentalize, like, oh, I can't deal with that today. We're gonna just shove that in the back, pretend it doesn't exist. Oh no, you go digging. You pull all those problems out and confront with them. You size up their desire to fix that problem. You offer, serve up your solution, and then, as I expect everyone will, because we're all grown adults and we're women that stick to our word, you yield results. You get bossy. Okay? This is the absolute best thing ever. Build rapport, open their problems box, size up their desire to fix that, serve your solution, and yield results. Very proud. So now real life examples. Okay, so let's start. If you are in a corporate world of some kind, you do not own your own business, can you please raise your hand real fast? Well, it's a good thing. Don't be shy about this. Okay, so we have people do this. So let's start with like, how do we walk through? We're going to define a goal. First, let's say you want to get a promotion. Who doesn't want to make more money and have a bigger title? I don't care what people say. Titles matter. The target audience is your manager, right? Even if they have to turn around and talk to somebody else, you have to sell them that you're worth this before they can convince someone else. We've got to craft a message. You start by simply, I have noticed, insert a handful, not all of them, problems, okay? So you're trying to open the meeting, not get an anxiety attack, right? And I have ideas on how to fix this. Would anyone here turn down someone saying, like, oh, I noticed this problem and I can fix it? Now I'm gonna sit with all my problems. No one says no to somebody else fixing their problems, right? So they say, okay, let's talk about it. I don't care how far out the meeting is, that part doesn't matter. You get bossy, build rapport with them. Do this by like talking to them as an adult. You have to start with something. Be friendly. Haven't met this person yet, don't know enough about them. Don't stalk their social media. Look at their LinkedIn. Do you have friends in common? Do they have dogs on their Instagram? Do they also like to run? Are they obsessed with beverages? Like, bring up something. Even with the biggest stranger here, worst case scenario, talk about the weather. But do something to establish some type of relationship, right? And then open up their problems box. What are all the things that you mentioned there? And then gauge their reaction. Do they seem interested in fixing any of this? Or are they just like, well, it's the way the world, like, whatever. Okay? If they have any desire to fix these problems, then you serve up your solution. And here's what that looks like. Solution is, you have all these problems, promote me and I'll take care of some of them for you. Well, why should I do that? Because I have, in this case, I have proven I can handle this by give examples, right? Thereby freeing up your time to spend on fill in the blank, which helps the company or the department's bottom line. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, every single thing in a corporate world comes down to numbers. You can have the best bosses like, oh, we want everyone to feel included and we want everybody to be engaged. That's great, but if you're not turning a profit, the business is gonna go under and you're gonna be out of a job soon. So every business owner or CEO is making decisions in the end based on numbers. So make sure you can tie them back in any one of these fashions. Saving time, saving money, saving headcount, y'all, benefits expensive. As someone who's taken full advantage of benefits a lot, they're expensive, okay? So if you can save this for somebody else, these are things to articulate. If you don't have these answers, go walk up and knock on the door of other people who can help you figure out the numbers. It has to come back to numbers. All right? Then of course you yield results. Let's say they don't seem interested in solving their problem. They're like, nah, I know, but like, it's just kind of what we gotta deal with. There's always those people that are fine to just check the box and look at the wall. This is my lot in life. Those are not my people, but I know those people exist, right? If they say no, they don't seem open to you even offering the promotion idea or the way you can solve it. Ask more questions. Why are they hesitant about this, right? This is where like background in journalism will pay off. No one is gonna fault you for asking more questions. And if they do, you're in the wrong environment to begin with, right? Because every manager should be trying to help cultivate a more engaged, more profitable employee. Take what their feedback is, and the key aspect, before you walk out that door, you set another benchmark, right? 3 months from now, let's sit down and you walk away and come up with new ideas, right? But you have to set the, I want to reevaluate this. If you wanted a raise, they say we can only give you part now, great. In 3 months, let's sit down and have this conversation again. Always book the follow-up, right? And I say 3 months because Rome wasn't built in a day. And it takes time for corporate. It's like trying to move the Titanic. It is a very slow shift. There's a lot of people involved in order to move that ship, okay? Does this make sense so far? Mm-hmm. Great. Now for the entrepreneurs, let's talk about my favorite thing. We want to get new clients, right? Not new because the old ones suck, but new because we want to grow, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to make more money, right? There's also nothing wrong with wanting to help more people, which is all this, you got capacity, let's continue to grow. Target audience. It is the person who is the decision maker at the company. It might be the owner of the company. It might be the person that works with them on specific projects. Those things are different. This is where LinkedIn is a wonderful resource. Their website. Yo, people take time to write this stuff. Do the research and go read it. I kid you not, if you set a timer on your phone, in 10 minutes, the amount of information you can learn about people online is a lot. And it will give you a leg up, okay? So identify who the person is that you want, who's gonna be the decision maker at the company, and then you craft the message. My favorite thing, content marketing. Does anyone not know what content marketing means? It's totally fine. Okay, so we're talking about blog posts, anything you ever put on social, any words that go out into the world, any images that go out, and then of course my favorite, email marketing. I love social media, y'all. It's great. Email is where people spend money, okay? They do not spend money on social unless they're buying candles or t-shirts. If you have that business, fantastic, we can talk, but that's not what people are converting, right? That is getting people to know and like you, and then they trust you and they book that conversion. So your content marketing, every blog, every email, every post on LinkedIn, on Instagram, has to talk about how you are able to solve their problems because you understand what they are, and then demonstrate how to solve it. Don't just say that like, oh my gosh, yes, I can make sure you invest in all of the right spots. No, give them the advice as within all of the guidelines that I know there are for financial advisors, but like give them direction on how you would approach this. So I have a client that does X, Y, and Z. This is where we start talking about things. This is the beginning step. Show, don't tell as much as possible. This is why video and photos are so beneficial. You don't have to say, I plan amazing events and all of our attendees are happy. Show pictures of people smiling and dancing, right? Don't care what the flowers look like. I care what the experience was around it. That's what people are actually buying. So, what are some of the problems that people may be having that an entrepreneur can solve? Their
website doesn't feel like them anymore, right? Or they're creating proposals that never close. Oh, it's my favorite thing to fix. Their skin is always patchy and dull, right? That's sad. We literally put our face, and hopefully the best one we can, forward, right? They're working all the time, they're getting burned out. Has any entrepreneur not felt like they're getting burned out? Right? We all ride that roller coaster where we admit it or not. It is real and it sucks, but it is literally what we signed up for because all the positive things are worth it. Okay? So, what are solutions to these problems? Website doesn't feel like them. Maybe we need new photos. Maybe we need a website, right? Or we need to overall redo the brand. If you're creating proposals that aren't closing, probably not actually targeting your ideal client or you're not qualifying leads fast enough, right? Your skin is always patchy. Totally understand that, y'all. I can provide also facials. I do red light therapy,
Facials,
right?
Nicole.
There we go.
My company face boundary just opened yesterday.
Even better, right? Working all the time, learn how to outsource. Like, let go of that control. Yes, beauty of being an entrepreneur is you get to be in control. Downside, you have to make every decision. Except you actually don't. You can hire people to make other decisions for you. It's fantastic. Makes your life a lot easier, right? So let's say you finally do all this. You brought someone in. They're like, yes, I want the meeting, right? I want to talk to you about how you can help me solve all of my problems. We get bossy again. You build rapport. You open up identifying. I know what my ideal client's problems are. What are your ideal problems? Are you struggling with this? What is really holding you back right now? Ask and then be quiet, right? It's the hardest thing for us to do when we've been told we talk too much is to be quiet. But that pregnant pause makes all the difference in the world. Size up their desire to fix the problems, which also is getting a feeling, are they actually your ideal client? If they are, surrender your solution to them. And this is the most important thing I want every entrepreneur to walk away with. Just because someone wants to work with you doesn't mean you have to work with them. Woohoo! Right? Thank you. That is for all those things about that entrepreneurial roller coaster, the really exciting part is you actually get to choose who you work with, right? Like, this is a beautiful part of any service-based industry. If you have a product business, you sell that shit everywhere. Go for it. Everybody's money is equal. That's amazing. But let's say you go through all of this, you've yielded results for them. Well, that is a little bit off. There we go. Okay. Now let's say they don't seem like someone who's really ready. They're struggling. Well, I got this, but they have an excuse for everything. They feel like you think, just get that gut feeling, you're going to be a humongous pain in my backside. Politely decline. They may want to work with you, but if they're going to make your life more difficult, y'all, you started your own business for a reason. And it was not to work with people who are going to make your life harder. How do we say this? I understand what you're looking for, I just don't think that I'm the right fit. Put it all on you. You might be thinking, you're crazy and gonna blow up my phone, or you cheat, and you don't realize what you're asking for. But put it on you, right? Because that is internal dialogue versus actually being an effective speaker and talking to someone in a way that they're gonna resonate. Because the absolute worst thing you can do, this is my father has always told me, is burn a bridge. I've had people, you want to walk away as a client, it's not the right fit anymore, we've grown from this, totally understandable. You do something to light that on fire, there's no way to rebuild it, and you never know, and you might need someone in the future, you may need that connection, okay? And always provide recourse for them. What is something else? I personally can't help you with this, but here are 4 other steps to do in the meantime, right? They're not ready for your budget, totally understand. Here are things to do first, and then come back to me when, right? When you can provide an actual recourse for people, you will leave them so happy with their experience with you that even if they're not the right fit now or 7 years in the future, they will say nice things. And it is really nice when someone else will drop your name in a room full of opportunities, right? That is not thinking on your feet. I didn't plan that part. But when it fits, right? Like, that's the thing, is you always want to leave people with a positive brand image, particularly if your name is on the door, because your name is literally on the door, right? Everyone doesn't have to like you, but it doesn't mean you want them saying not nice things behind your back, right? And this really is the big thing, like, you get to choose. It's really that simple. Whether you get a bad That may mean that you have to continually doing more farming, you may have to do a little bit more hunting, but you get to choose, right? You don't have to work with this person just because someone else said that you needed to. So, final things to wrap up, looking at this. Most important thing, know, like, trust. You can forget all the other things that are on here if you want to, but walk away with the effective communication is someone has to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust that what you say, you will follow through with, okay? And you do that by defining what is the goal that I'm trying to accomplish, and like every good email campaign, there is one goal. There's not, oh, here's 7 things you could do. No, we get overwhelmed, I don't care, ADHD or not. I do not have it, but we need one thing to do. Go do this one next step. Your chances of them, I think the statistic is like 57%, if my memory serves. If you're given 5 options, you take no options. We all have analysis paralysis, and remember, we're all obsessed with what we have to do. So you don't really care about what you have to do. I have to really, I have clients that pay me, and I'm like, y'all, you're paying me to read this? I don't want to read it. So what about someone that you're asking to pay you in order to read this, right? Be very clear about this. Define what your goal is. Only speak to that target audience. You may collect 20% of other people in the meantime. Great, if they come in, always talk to your ideal client. Craft a message that will resonate with them, that addresses their problems, and get bossy and convert them. This is the way that every sales conversation, every lead qualification, every difficult conversation you have to have with a friend or an ex-boyfriend or a soon-to-be ex or a neighbor, right? Or an ex-girlfriend goes. Anyway, this is how every hard conversation gets easy. If you try to propose marriage and jump in way too early, they're gonna turn you off, right? They're gonna be like, I can't do this. If you start just jump straight to here are all of the problems, people get really defensive. Then they stop listening. This is in an order for a very specific reason, okay? So now some additional resource for you. That top one in particular is gonna help out anyone that owns their own business. This is literally a very in-depth, probably more than you need guide. If you have 5 minutes to do marketing, here's a list of the 5 things you can do in marketing and sales that will move your business forward. You have 10 minutes, go do these things instead. I do recommend you use, I have some clients that print it out and put it on their desk. The benefit of the digital version, of course, in keeping that handy is that there are links to tutorials and examples. If something doesn't make sense or I thought it got a little too word heavy, it went to videos. As you can see, I do like to talk, but I also think screen share is really important for visual learners to understand things. And the other one, you don't know what to post on social media? Totally understand that. Brain freeze. 14 ideas. All you have to do is find one of them. You can do it 2 weeks worth of content. You can start it over a period of a month. You can go back and do this for 14 days and then circle back through and do a whole different thing 14 days later. Because guess what? I don't remember what I posted on Friday of last week. Y'all surely don't. So like people don't remember, recycle it. Put a new picture with it, right? Put a new intro line on LinkedIn Store, but share the same link. People don't remember. We will also, the way the algorithm works, you will see things from 6 days ago that just popped up today, and I'm like, oh wow, I was a little late to the game on that. That's what LinkedIn showed me. All right, so the next slide now, of course, that is all of the things. I'm gonna ask, is there any questions? I'll let other people download any of those.
How do we hire you?
Wonderful thing. So, I love this. Yes, you can. I hope everyone has gotten things because that's actually the next QR code. So everything starts with a conversation. So that QR code right there will link you directly to my website where you can book your intro call with me and we can talk about what are your specific goals, whether or not I'm the right person to help you do them, right? I do primarily work with people in the event industry and small businesses to either teach you how to do your marketing more effectively or for you to throw money at that problem and I just do it all for you. Beautiful thing, we can still create a strategy. If you have any desire to learn how to write email copy, create things on social media, update your website, I can teach you. Otherwise, you just throw money at that problem, I do it for you. And if anyone finds this talk to be beneficial for your own company, I'd be more than happy to come and chat.